Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting Attack Productions. Today at Bancroft, I'm joining you all once again to bring you all a new deck profile. Not just any deck profile, but my Surge Piccolo deck profile. This one was requested. I had no idea what to build for the weekend, so I decided, let's throw it together. We haven't got set 14 yet. I wanted to try something new, and I actually never really did play this leader back in the day when it first came out. So we'll get into this deck for you all. But like always, keep in mind there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. With that being said, so let's get into it. So, Surge Piccolo originally, once per turn at the beginning of your turn, look at the top card of your deck, place that card at the top or bottom of your deck, then you may draw one card, and then you begin your turn to draw for turn. So that was eroded. You no longer get the draw one off that effect. So now you get to scry one. If you don't like it, put it on your deck. If you like it, that's the card you draw for turn. It limits this leader's ability to draw because of that. So normally every leader has the ability, well, beginning of your turn, you draw one card, and then when the leader attacks, you get to draw a card, or your leader searches the top X amount of cards for another card. So your leader always has a way of getting another card. What made this so strong was that if you didn't like the card you saw, you could just pitch it and get another card for potentially energy purposes. So it allowed you to pick out your charge target before you drew your card, which is always nice. Now, you lose that ability of extra draws indefinitely because the leader's Surge Awakening doesn't have any draws either. It just has Activate Main/Battle, which is once per turn, if your life is 3 or less, you may choose one card underneath this card, place it in the owner's drop area, then you choose one of two effects. Either A, your opponent chooses 2 cards in their hand and sends them to the warp, or choose one blue-green multicolor card in your drop area, then get its energy exhaust skills and place it in your energy, which is always what I typically go to, depending on what kind of strategy I'm trying to go in the end. But depending on the decks you're playing against, obviously making your opponent discard 2 cards is an obvious choice. So you just gotta choose which one's more important at the time. So, to fix the draw problem in the deck, I had to opt out with playing 4 of the Saiyan Instincts because I found a lot of turns I had open energy that I didn't really use it for anything. So why not use it to draw 2 cards? And I know in the past, I'm not sure if I ever said on camera, but I've told 12 openly, playing 4 of these cards in a deck is stupid. Playing 4 of these in this deck, I think is worth it. So I play 4 of them just because I need the resources to my hand. We're going to go into the multicolor cards for a bit. So first one, Android 17, which is kind of like your checklands. If you have a multicolor card already in energy, this card is placed in energy, ignore energy exhaust, which is pretty nice. Also, if you were to play this card, once per turn, when your opponent combos, choose up to one of those cards, place it in the bottom of the owner's deck, then negate this skill for the duration of the game. So it's a one-time combo killer, which is pretty nice. Never had the opportunity to play it. I typically want to charge this card, but that's just me. I played 2 of the Tapions. I've charged this card before, and that's only if I knew my matchup that was more viable to charge this first and then turn around on my following turn, charge Android 17 to get start with that 2 energy on my second turn. But most of the time I'm using this active main. So for either for 1 blue or 1 green energy, if your leader card is green or a phantom demon, discard this card from your hand, then choose one of the following effects. I don't worry about the bottom effect, which is you activate 1 sealed music box from your deck, which I don't play any in this deck. So instead, we go for the draw 1 card. So you pay 1 energy to replace itself, which is pretty nice. And then at the end of your turn, you get to play this card from your drop area, which is even better. So now, 1 energy, draw a card. Now you have a blocker on board for your opponent's next attack, or you have a battle card during your next turn. Android 16, Steadfast Comeback, only plays a 2 of. He is a dual attack, blocker, revenge. So if I get this card on the board, my opponent now knows, okay, if I swing a battle card, it's most likely going to die because he has revenge. He does have an auto, which is very nice, which has 1 of 2 ways of activating it, either comboing it, which is a 1-cost combo card, or on play. So you get to choose one of the following effects. Either your opponent chooses 1 card in your hand, discards it, or you place it with 1 blue Android card, energy cost of 1 from your deck in your drop area, and then shuffle your deck. But I never use that effect. I don't have any 1-drop Androids in my deck, So typically you play this card to the board, now you have a blocker revenge, and then my opponent has to discard a card as well. And of course, this is a rival target. This is a blue-green deck, so I play Android 18 Bionic Blitz, which when you come with this card, your opponent has to discard a card anyways. So combining this combo, then a rival, that's 2 cards my opponent has to get rid of. And keep in mind, when you do stuff like this, you always space it out. So you combo first, let them discard a card, then you turn around and play the next card. So that way, it's one of those things where you make your opponent, give your opponent a choice. Typically is better than not giving them a choice. And if you go strip away, okay, cool, discard 2 cards, they find 2 cards that kind of will be acceptable to discard, where in this case, they will discard a card they feel like isn't as important, but then turn around and have to discard another card that they weren't expecting to discard. Now granted, this is a hand control deck in some sense, because the activate battle here could cause my opponent to discard 2 more cards. So, it's not bad. So this is the multicolor cards. Alright, going to the Unison package. I play Demigra. In my opinion, it's one of the best green Unisons. Mainly because it's permanent, where if it were to lose a marker, you could take a life instead. This is a one cost Unison. It immediately becomes 2 markers. So it's a 15k when you play on your board. You swing your opponent's, it's not bad. If you do the -3, which is even better, you KO one of your opponent's battle cards. And then if energy costs 3 or less, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, KO it. Then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 3 or less, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So it gets rid of 2 cards using the -3, which is pretty nice. There were talks about the Herdigarn, which one cost, you do immediately the +2 by discarding, choose 1 card in your hand, discard it. Keep in mind, you don't actually have to do the effect, you should do +2 and don't activate the main. So it gets 3 markers, so it's a little bit more survivable. But then when my opponent goes to it, they have to expend resources on this one. But I like to take the life early on, get myself to a nice awakening spot. That way I can either start ramping or potentially just removing my opponent's hand. It's still not a bad option if you play Herdigarn though. 2 of the Golden Friezas. It's just a beautiful card that allows me to draw 1. I do put 1 card top of the deck, so kind of combining with the leader's front side. I look at the card. If I don't like it, put it on the deck. If I have a card in my hand I know it's going to be pointless in a match, when I play the Frieza, I draw another card and put that card on top of my deck, and then on my next turn auto, I put that card at the bottom of my deck. That way it's just getting rid of it, don't need it. But Frieza it gains crit for the +1, which is pretty nice. The -2 is until the end of your opponent's next turn, your opponent can't attack with battle cards unless they choose one of their battle cards with energy cost 2 or more and place them in their own drop area. So it kind of controls your opponent's ability to go aggro on you or be very aggressive against you, which is really nice because your leader is a blue-green leader. It's not a mono-green leader, so you cannot play Dormant Potential in this deck. And truth be told, if I had more Golden Friezas, which for some reason we only have 2 of these, which I guess it just happens, I think a 3/3 is what I would actually play on these Unison here. I do play one more Unison. It's my favorite Unison, though. It's a board wipe. It's a double strike crit. We'll never use the -5 because once again, it has to be a mono green. All your energy has to be mono green for it, where we play the blue green energies. But a double strike crit 25k beater isn't bad. Because we play Unisons, we do have a couple free cards. Like I said, we can't play Dormant, but we can play Frieza, which is always nice when your opponent plays counterplay. You just play this card, KO's a card, energy cost 7 or less. And we combine that with the Zamasu, which is indestructible. This costs 1 energy to do, so you typically play the Frieza. If you're able to early on swing the Frieza, go ahead and do so. Then you turn around, pay 1 energy, go into the Zamasu with it by pitching the Frieza to play this card. And when this card swings, your opponent has to discard a card from their hand as part of the auto, which is pretty nice. And kind of sticking with that hand control route for right now, I do tech in 1 Zarbon, Cosmic Elite. It's a blocker. If your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, when this card is removed from the battle area by a skill or KO, your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand, discards it. And it's 1 energy to play it. And all you gotta do is choose 1 green card in your hand, discard it to play this card from your drop area. So, never charge mono blue energy, so Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha is always active. This is a Piccolo leader. I know you can play Special Beam Cannon, but Social Beam Cannon only gives you a 10k boost, where this gives you a 15k boost. If I'm correct, Social Beam Cannon is only a 10k. And they both have the Social Beam Cannon, I don't think is locked to energy restrictions, which makes it nice if you have chargeable energy. But I'm never going to, so I don't have to worry about it. But this case right here, you have to have all your energy has to be green in order to make your opponent discard one card. Sorry, you choose one of the cards. You don't look at it, you just kind of look at their, pull their hand. There you go. More discarding 3 Rubians, because why not? If you push far enough in the game, your opponent may not have any hands left because of this card combined with the leader's effect. Also, it's a good combo card or a card to pitch for Zarbon. Going to more my negates. Because we do play Frieza as well, if I don't have a Zarbon in my hand, my opponent swings at me, I can always pre-black hole, choose the Frieza, and I can choose battle cards in my opponent's field up to 5 energy cost, which is pretty cool. Sorry, I think it's the total energy cost less than or equal to the card I choose. So, not up to, sorry, because that's very specific on choosing cards. If it says up to, you get rid of tokens. If it says less, you can't get rid of tokens, if I'm correct. 2 Kakunsas because it's 2 energy during your turn. And yeah, I mean, it's a negate that KOs a card. And now it's a 20k beater on the board. If my opponent likes to play cards on my turn, like if it's either a rival stuff or some form of skills that does it, Blue Impulse, just a one of. If I need to charge it, I'll charge it, you know. But we lately at our locals been having a lot of rival-based decks kind of showing up. So I kind of tech one in there just for that purpose. If they rival against me, I can just blow they're filled up. Now, granted, certain things you can't get past, like if it has barrier or whatnot. So because we do play blue, we got 3 Senzu Beans, restands energy, 4 Dimension Magics, restands 2 blue energy. So that's your standard blue package. Not bad. For my kind of like in-game solutions, I play 21 Bad Omen. And the more I think about it, maybe playing 2 is not a bad idea. But this is the card I typically want to put underneath my leader. So that way when I activate the effect to ramp, I just put her in the drop area and I immediately turn around and put her onto the field. Sorry, my energy. Then you pay the 4 energy, which choose 1 card from your energy, place in your drop area. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and up to 1 of your opponent's life. Place them in the owner's drop area. So if your opponent's on 1 life, that's game. If they're down to 2 life, you could do it, pitch, and then boom. Hopefully you've maybe hand controlled them to that point, and then you swing 25. And yeah, hopefully that works for you. Play 1 Fu, the Dark Banisher, because it's like I said, this is a hand controlled deck. So the permanent of this card is your opponent can't activate skills unless they choose 1 card in their hand and send it to their war. If they don't have cards in their hand, they can't choose skills, which is pretty nice. Last but not least is my secret rare. Now this one was a little bit debatable on which one I want to go with. I thought about potentially playing the Heroine's Lineage. I thought about playing Cell X because I play quite a few battle cards that could, you know, somehow combine that effect, but I felt like it just was never enough. Like, these are the 3 unique green cards I would typically play to the board. And unless I were to play, say, have Zamasu and a Freeze on board, then pay 1 energy, play Zarbon, there's no real successful way of bringing Cell out. So I decided not to do Cell X, and instead go with Shinron. Always a great secret rare. It's 1 energy to combo with, and then you pay 1 energy for the auto at the end of your battle in which this card was used in a combo from your hand. Play this card from your drop area. If you do, choose any number of your opponent's leader cards, battle cards, or unison cards equal or less than their energy, annoying barrier, and put them to rest mode. I don't play Dormant, so finding other ways that I could stop my opponent from attacking was a plus. So I went with this route instead. And truth be told, I had 1 opportunity to play this in one of my matchups, but I think it was against Nick, and he was playing set 1 Broly, so I knew if I put this on the board and he swung at me, and this is the only battle card I had, it's gone. So, but yeah, that's my Surge Piccolo. Hope you all enjoyed it. And truth be told, what's your opinion on it? And if you have any suggestions, put it in the comments down below. I'm really curious. I like taking leaders that no one uses anymore and finding ways to make them somehow relevant or somehow good. So I'm just curious what you all think about it. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. And like always, hey, there's buttons on the screen. Click them. But read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.